Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to City Skylines Mass Transit. I certainly hope you're having a wonderful day, because I'm certainly excited to be back here in the beautiful city of Nerdshire. There is one thing I'd like to do, though. This music we got going on here, the City Skylines music, I feel like it's too much. I feel like we're gonna turn that off completely. Gonna turn off the City Skylines music, and we're doing that for a reason. Because in the previous episode, there was no game sound because my recording went weird. And I'm hoping that there's game sound on this one, otherwise this gag isn't gonna work. But I'm thinking we say, hit it, and there you go. The electro swing, I think we'll keep it around for today. I don't think it's the worst idea in the world, so there you go. Bit of electro swing for this one, with the game sound, assuming the game sound actually recorded. If it didn't, then there's still electro swing, it's just this guy fell flat in its face, is the point I'm getting at. Anyway, today, like I said, things are going pretty well. We're making some money. The population's at nearly 220,000 people. Of course, Demand Master is still turned on. People don't like that, but whatever. That's just the way it's gonna be. I did go ahead and I did build a new suburb, though. I built this on a live stream, and that particular stream isn't gonna be uploaded as its own video, because all I really did was this suburb, and I also streamed it on Twitch because I am partnered on Twitch, and I've decided Twitch is my primary live stream platform, so that's the way that's gonna be. But all I did was build this. That's essentially all I did in the stream, so it wouldn't really have been all that interesting. I did a lot of faffing around as well, so wasn't very interesting, to be honest, and I'm doing a really good job of selling Twitch as a streaming platform for my content. Oh yeah, it was pretty bad, actually, don't bother. Anyway, today what I'd like to do is I'd like to figure out where the rest of the suburbs are gonna go, because I'm liking this whole thing we got going on with this, the thick tree line sort of surrounding the suburbs. I really like that, and you know, it nicely surrounds things. Oh, by the way, depth of field is turned on because I actually kind of like it. I do want to figure out where the other suburbs are going to go, but I want to see if I can do something about this problem we're having where there's not enough goods for businesses to sell. And a lot of that is just because industrial traffic is still, to this day, getting stuck. Not as bad as it was. I mean, these areas in here are sort of clearing up a little bit, but I feel like we just need more movement, I guess. We need more space for people to move around. Also, did I show the... Oh, I didn't. Apparently I didn't save the change I made there. Interesting. Very interesting. Okay, well, since I didn't save the change, I'll go ahead and make the change again. I must have tested this out in a little session I was doing off camera. So what I want to do here is I want to go ahead and move the trams underground. So like that and like that, connect them across. And I also want to go ahead and bulldoze that, and that for just a moment, and then go in and get myself this type of road right here. This nice little 6-lane road. Gonna use this little tool here to change the height. 1, 2, 3, like so, and it's gonna go straight across. We'll turn off the road guidelines for a moment just to get this to line up properly. And that right there is, I'm hoping, going to let traffic just flow a little bit easier through that space, because I realized that, you know, this road is quite a busy one. A lot of traffic's flowing down that way, so it's maybe going to be a good idea to have that sort of flow straight through. It would be nice to have more connections around here. I'd love to be able to connect up some of these, like that one especially, because it does flow straight out of that area. But there's no real good way to do that. I guess I could bridge over. That is an option. You know what? We're going to give that a shot as well. I think we're going to have to. We're going to have to give this a shot. So, what distance is... So, if that's 5, 6, 7, 8... Let's do 9. 2, 3. So, 9. Then the next one, I think, would be there. Then it needs to go straight down, which is 9, actually. So that right there works. This little connection here is going to be a problem, so that's going to get deleted. And this is all going to need sort of shuffled around a little bit. Because I want to try and minimize the number of intersections we have around here, so that needs to go as well. And this is going to connect straight through. Now, obviously, it doesn't line up perfectly, but I'm thinking that could be a really, really good connection to have. In fact, we could even go so far as bridging over some of these roads as well. And I think I might do that. So do that. I want to move these parks so they're on the roads back there, though that doesn't actually seem like it's going to be possible. So we'll bulldoze the parks for a second. Bulldoze that and bulldoze that. Bring this across to that point and straight down like that. So yeah, that's going to be a way straight through. It's going to force a lot of this traffic out onto the main avenue here, and yeah, that's going to be a problem, but I feel like we can probably do some good stuff with this. I feel like that's going to be a good setup. I also want to line this up slightly differently. So about there, I think, just like that. So yeah, that'll hopefully do some good stuff. We'll see how it goes. We'll see if it works. I really hope it does. I really, really hope that helps the traffic just move a little bit better. I mean, looking at these roads as well, I realize there isn't a pillar there, so technically I can bring that straight out and bring that straight along there. And that's going to let us continue the zoning through all of that space, which is actually kind of good stuff. So what we'll do is bring that up to there. Maybe bulldoze some of those roads for a second just to get them to work the way we'd want them to. So that goes to there, that goes to there. And yeah, we can get some zoning around all of that. And it's hopefully going to look pretty cool. Hopefully. We'll see how it goes. Let's maybe just bring a... We could bring a road down here as well. Definitely an option. But what about that kind of thing there? Actually, if I extend that straight on, yeah, something like that. I know it's a bit of a messy area, but it lets me zone right up against the highway, which is kind of what we're going for. So if I just zone all of this with, I'm going to say offices. I think offices will be a good bet. So zone all of that with offices. We'll get the offices right up against the highway. That might let traffic flow through. There is one change I want to make, though. Which is kind of going to change the dynamic of this area a little bit, potentially. I was thinking of taking the trams off of this road here. Because of this one especially, with how busy it is. So we can get another lane in there. I think we're gonna give that a shot. So let me go in here, let me grab the tram tracks. That's a one-way road. This one. So grab the tram tracks, and all of this bit needs to be changed. All of that needs changed, and that needs changed as well. Then what we do, we go in, we're going to grab the tram stops. So that one's going to go in there. And that one's going to go in there. Then that one's going to go there, and that one's going to go there. So now what we can go ahead and do is we can actually go in and upgrade that whole street to have a few more lanes on it, which I think is hopefully going to do some good stuff. I'm also thinking I want to take the train tracks out of here. I'm either going to raise the train tracks or lower the road. I think I'll raise the train tracks. So that's all going to come out like so. And what I'll do is actually raise the whole thing up considerably. So change this real quick like so. Go 1, go 2, and go 3. And bring it across. Then bulldoze all of the train tracks in here as well, because I want to raise the whole thing up between these buildings so that it's not going on this road either. So it's going to come the whole way along. It's going to go to there. And then we need to figure out how we're going to curve this. So we're probably going to want road guidelines to be back on for this, because that's going to make this a bit easier. So to there, like that. Can I get that to actually work? Oh, that is going to be a real tricky thing to try and do there. Maybe this whole thing needs to stay raised up for the time being while it comes around. Definitely, yeah, I think it's going to have to stay raised up whilst we bring it around. So, bring it there, line it up, bring it around, and then lower it over here as it comes into the station. So, we turn off the guidelines, and we go 1, we go 2, and we go 3, and ooh, distance too short. Well, we'll turn on anarchy. There we go. So yeah, that right there will take the trains off of the road. It is kind of low, but I like it being a bit lower. I don't like it being 12 meters tall. I like it being 9. I think it looks better. So the trains can go through there. The vehicles have more road to use and an extra connection done here. Now, obviously, the trams going back and forth here, as well as this being a four-way intersection, is probably going to slow things down, but I want to see how this road does. Admittedly, that's probably got an old time. No, actually, Belmont Hills does not have an old time policy, which is very, very good news. So we might see this get some use. I mean, it's already getting some use, so we might see some good stuff come from that. With that said, we still have the problems where most of the city doesn't have enough goods to sell. Even areas over here right next to industrial zoning, which kind of makes me think we just need more industry. It really does make me think that way. And I feel like I might be right. But I don't want to build a shed out of industry because some of the industry doesn't actually have workers. So maybe what we do is we should probably look into schools, to be honest. Let's get a high school. I don't really know where to put it though. I want it kind of central to this this area. Oh, I just noticed this is backing up a little bit. We might want to look into that. Tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to de-zone this corner. I believe this, yeah, this is in the new area that I built. So we're going to de-zone that space. And we'll bring, let's see, bring a path across like that. Bulldozing all of that. And then the high school can go, actually, right, we can do 2 of them. I'm totally going to do 2 of them to really boost the education in this area. Turn road anarchy back on and get a path between them. So, right there, there's a lot of people eligible, but that gives us excellent coverage for that neighborhood, which is exactly what I want to see. Coverage up here is not bad. Coverage in some of these areas is pretty rough, though. The thing is, everyone seems to be educated. I think it's just going to be a slower process considering we don't have enough high schools to educate everyone at one time. Elementary school education, on the other hand, is another problem, so I'm going to just throw another random elementary school into that spot. Just to give a bit of a boost to that corner, and I think we'll throw another random elementary school just into that spot as well, just to give a boost to that area. And maybe just another one in there. Again, just to give a boost to those areas. We are having some crime problems in there. We do actually have, there is policing. I guess we could maybe throw a small police station onto that corner there. And that'll give good coverage for some of that space. So we should be okay with that. Hopefully that does okay. And hopefully that will improve those areas. I still haven't set those as districts either. I really should get around to that, but we'll see what happens. Now coming back to the problem at hand with the not enough goods to sell, I mean, I don't know. I can't tell. It's impossible to tell with the way things are whether or not that is an industry problem or what that might be. Now over here we're seeing not enough raw materials, which tells me that it's entirely likely that the problem is to do with traffic. And looking at the amount of traffic coming through here, I think it's fair to say that I'm right. I think it's fair to say that I'm 100% correct in my assumption that it is largely a traffic problem. So we'll have that be a 6-lane avenue there. I think that'll help a little bit. This right here is probably fine as is. We could always look into changing this to be a 2-lane avenue, but I mean, I think that's just going to slow things down a little bit more. So I'm not going to bother with that too much. I also want to point out that a couple of people have said this in the comments as well. Tornado Country, my natural disasters Let's Play, it was in a map that had 4 highway connections to the region. This has 1. So all of the traffic coming into my city is coming through here, you know? So it's all going in on the one stretch of highway. So that, I mean, I'll be honest, I didn't plan this amazingly. I think we can all agree that if I'd planned it amazingly, my city maybe would, you know, have multiple different highway connections as opposed to the way it's set up at the moment. I have to say though, I actually love the bird's eye view of this city. I love this band of older buildings going around here. I really, really enjoy that. And the suburbs aren't looking bad either. Just, you know, throwing it out there. I'm not saying they're perfect, but they ain't bad. I ain't gonna say they're perfect, but they're definitely not bad. Anyway, what I want to go ahead and do, I think, is I'm gonna fill this space in with some suburbs as well. So I'm gonna use my my normal method, which is gonna be to remove all of the trees from that area, because it gives me a bit of a shape to work with. It lets me easily see what I'm working with, and it also lets me add the trees back in later, which is going to make this area look a little bit better. So we'll remove them right up to there. I do want to grab a few, bring my brush down and just make this area a little bit more dense around the industry. So something kind of like that, just a proper line of dense trees around that industry is really going to just divide it up from what's about to be some residential zoning. So for this area, what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to bring this road off of here and sort of bring it around following that path, right? So it's going to follow that path to there, and then it's going to curve towards the highway. Now, if I turn road guidelines back on, I can probably get this to line up even better. So something kind of like that. And then if I bulldoze that for a second, what I can do is line this up with the highway like so, because I do want this road to be fairly parallel to the highway. Not perfect. It certainly isn't perfect, but relatively parallel. We can bring this curve around like so. And then actually continue that straight on, which for some reason is being a bit weird. So continue this straight on to about there. And then give it a bit more of a curve away from the highway. Doesn't have to be perfect, but just sort of away from the highway like that. And then I want to bring a road off of here to about that point, having it go like so. So that's going to be sort of the road that goes around this new suburb. We can have some stuff in here as well. Gonna have to lower the, those mounds of dirt. Otherwise, that's going to be a bit weird. But that road there is going to sort of be the backbone of a lot of the new little suburb we're going to do here. So let me go ahead and just flatten the terrain in here. We can maybe do some interesting stuff with the terrain afterwards, because I know that this bit here, for example, actually, if I lower the terrain just a little bit around there, you know, properly lower it so that that bit of road is raised. I actually kind of like that. That'll be a nice little natural divide between the highway and the suburb. So I'll make that work. What I'll do then is grab this road and go off of here. So something kind of like that. I want it to go that way. And that way just a little bit further. And I just want to fill up a lot of this space. I don't want it to be right against the highway. I know it's getting pretty close, but it's not going to be right against the highway. It's going to be, you know, within a reasonable distance. And there's going to be trees in there as well, so we're going to have natural sound barriers and all that kind of stuff. So that right there, I think, is going to be more than enough for that initial sort of area there. We'll bring a road off of there, and maybe bring a road off of there as well. So that's going to fill up that space, and that's totally fine. We'll use a similar method over here, and this is what I've been doing in all of these spaces. So you'll notice all of the, I guess, the little trees or the little sections that come off of the backbone roads. So this road here, or in this case, the road that sort of loops around like this. They're all grid-based to a degree, but they're all at different angles because I'm just coming off of the curvy road wherever I think it's going to look good. Which is, to me, I don't think the worst thing in the world. I think it looks kind of cool. So that road there is pretty straight, but it's going to be a different angle to the other little areas that come later. And I do think that looks kind of cool. So that's going to go there. That's going to go like that. And that right there is going to be totally fine. So the next one is going to come off of, say, here. And come down like so. And this one is a little bit more grid-based because of the road that's coming off being pretty straight, but that's not so much a big deal. So bring that down there, bring that down to, what, there? And bring that one off of there. And then we got room for one more, which I might actually bring off of the avenue. Might not be the worst thing in the world. I think I'll bring it off of here, actually. So it is coming in at a bit of a different angle to the one just over here, which is absolutely perfect. So that can go there. And we'll bring this over. We'll bring one down through here, leaving a bit of room in there for a park, perhaps. And maybe, just maybe, we leave that big space open as well. Or, I mean, yeah, I think that works. Pretty big space open here. Could fill it in with that. And maybe fill this bit in as well. Just like so. Yeah, I think that works. I think that'll be fine. So what we do at this point is we can go ahead and put the pipes in, and then we can go ahead and put the zoning in. And once the zoning's done, which will take a couple of minutes because the game is running kind of slow, frame rate isn't bad. I've seen a lot of people asking me what my PC specs are, which reminds me I need to go and rebuild my website because it's been down for, I think, a couple of months at this point. Because I just had to redesign it and never got around to doing it. Once that's done, my PC specs will be up there, but my PC specs, they're not bad. But the one thing to keep in mind is my frame rate, okay, it's like 50, 60 when I'm looking like this, right? But look how slow the game is running on ×3. This is it running on ×1. That's normal speed. That's 3 times. There's like no difference. So the entire simulation is just running slower because we've got 221,000, 222,000 people. So it's actually mostly the game code that's letting that work. So what we'll go ahead and do, I'm going to go ahead and fill all of this up with zoning. I'm not actually going to put any on the avenue, and I'm not going to put any outside of the backbone road. Because I don't want zoning right against the highway. I want there to be a nice barrier of trees where the zoning is, where the houses are being divided up from, you know, the highway. That road there is probably a bit much to, well, it's zoned on the other side. This bit over here is a little different. There's not going to be as much of a barrier, but these houses, I guess, aren't going to be as luxurious. That's the word I was looking for. Aren't going to be as luxurious. Sure. All right, whatever. So we'll fill all of this up, and we can actually go ahead and start throwing in some of the details. So if we grab this, we can, oh wow. Yeah, so these trees get real thick, but I like that. I actually really like that because it means that it'll look like a really nice barrier between the zoning and the highway, which is exactly what we're going for. So similar story down here. This entire avenue is going to be surrounded in pretty dense trees. Same with this one here. So just like that. And then what we do in the middle is we bring the strength of the brush down, bring the brush size up, and we just fill it up with the bushes, just like so. We can throw some of these trees in here, bring the size down a little bit. So throw some of those trees around, throw some of those trees around just for a bit of variety. And that'll go ahead and start building. And I'm kind of keen to see how it looks when it fills up, because I think it's going to look really nice, especially with the divides of all the grass and stuff. I really like this. I really do. I think it looks pretty neat. Also, a lot of people were really keen to point out that I messed up this road. And I did. I absolutely messed up this road. If you weren't aware, this road at one time was one way in only. There was no way to go out. I fixed that, as you can see, and you can now go out, which is good because people are actually using it, which is also good. Now, I do want to have a look at my roads over here. This one's actually quite busy. This one is also quite busy, but traffic for the most part is moving. Not so much here, admittedly. Traffic here is not great, but for the most part, it's at least trying to move. Now, how are you guys going to get a power connection? That's... Ooh. Also, I'm thinking a roundabout probably shouldn't have, like, a bunch of trees blocking it. I feel like you want to be able to see what's coming around rather than having it be completely blocked. So I wonder, is there anything I could throw in there that's going to, you know, make it look like a roundabout? You know, any kind of little detail, something like that. I just need something. I could throw street lamps around. That's an option. We got little beacon lamps, runway lights. We got new street light highway. I forgot I got all of these. It's got a lot of new street lights and stuff like that. A lot of that old kind of schmeckus. I've got some textures in here as well. Road arrows, for example. We got lane lines as well. Totally forgot that I got all of these. Speaking of other things I forgot about, I have extra parking lots that I may or may not have shown before. Don't remember if I actually did show those off, but if I didn't, then be aware, I have got other parking lots beyond the ones that I've used thus far. So let's see, anything in here? Not really. I feel like we're gonna have to use the safety barriers. Oh boy. That might be interesting. I don't know. I want to find something that makes sense, and I'm leaning towards streetlights. So I actually decided to go with something really simple. Just some bushes and a big light in the middle. I figured that would work. Also, these guys actually have a power connection, which is beautiful news. They've also filled up pretty well, which is also beautiful news. And I think it looks pretty neat. I think it fills in that space absolutely perfectly. And this is kind of what I'm talking about, you know? This is a lot more of this to fill in some spaces around the edges of the city, and I think we're going to have a pretty cool looking space, you know? I think it's really going to help the city just look like it's fading out from, you know, this really dense urban sprawl to some little suburbs, you know? I really enjoy the way that looks. I know I keep going on about it, and I know I keep repeating myself like, hey, you know, it looks good, yeah? I like it. I really do. I have this thing with City Skylines where if you can make something look decent, I'll stop saying it looks really good, all right? Because I know that there's some really talented people in the City Skylines scene that do some amazing things. But I like making things look at least nice using a lot of vanilla assets. Obviously, I'm using mods to do this, but it's not entirely unreasonable to assume that you could do this with the base game tools. It would just take a really long time. Like a really long time to do a lot of this with the base game tools. So I do like that. Anyway, I do want to look into public transport for these areas because I haven't actually done much with it. I have some buses going around, but I don't know if... I don't know how useful the buses are. Because what I've done is I have two different bus lines. Now that one's kind of popular. That stop's also kind of popular. On this side, a completely different line. Not very popular. Not very popular. Either way, the point I'm making is both of those lines come back into the city and go here. And I don't really know if there's much point to that. I don't really know if I need them to go there. Because what I'm thinking is if I just get them to a metro station, if I just get them to, you know, a tram station or one of the other major bus hubs, they're fine. I don't think, I mean, I guess a bus that goes back and forth between these areas wouldn't hurt. You know, that can take you straight into the heart of the city, and that's a good place to go. So maybe instead of two bus lines that do that, there's one bus line that does that. So what I'm thinking is if we go into our bus lines, right? We go in here, we're looking for that line and that line. So delete, there's actually a decent number of passengers. Delete and delete, right? So delete both of those bus lines. We'll go in, we're gonna make a new one. So it's gonna start there. Kind of in a similar spot to where it was. But it's gonna start there. We're gonna bring it around. It's Gonna kind of need to be on that road up there, to be honest. Which makes things a little bit tricky. Ooh, I didn't really think about this. Let's do that. Let's do that. Let's do one down here as well. Actually, no, we'll do it just there. So it comes back into this neighborhood, which is totally fine. Actually, no, it needs to go there instead. So do it there and connect it up. Nope, connect it up. So that bus line goes around like that, right? Then what I want to do is have one that starts there and goes up into this neighborhood just like so. Now, I might actually need to go up into that space. It's a considerable amount of space to cover there. So maybe we do have it go up in and then back out and down like so. So go to about there. Then have it come down onto this road. And have it come down onto that bit of road and back up to there. So now those two bus lines meet in the middle, right? So those two bus lines now have a point where they both stop. So if I create a new bus line from there that runs into the heart of the city. We could have it go into the heart of the city. We could have it go elsewhere, but I'm thinking heart of the city. So we have it come in and go there and then right back out. It's going to be an express line that just goes in and out of that area. All right. So the last three bus lines that we have, two of them need to be light blue. You know, that lighter color we've been going for. This one can be just a white line. So that's an express one that goes in and out. What are the yellow lines? Oh dear. Daffodil Square line, Holy Park Industrial. So they're the industrial lines? Okay. Yeah, that should be fine. So we'll see how that works. We'll see if it does work. But what I also want to do is I want to make sure I go in and get a crosswalk there and there. So people can actually, you know, split between the bus lines and go where they want to go. And I hope that kind of works. I hope that maybe we can get some good stuff going with that. I'm also thinking that maybe, just maybe, what we do is we have part of that white line stop there. So on the way out, it's going to stop by the train station. And maybe on the way back, it stops just opposite as well. So you can stop and get on a train if you want to. And then maybe, you know, it could also stop. It could stop opposite this. I don't think that's going to be the worst idea in the world either. How am I going to add this stop, though? It's getting real weird. So drag that stop. Oh, I can't because that's a bridge. Okay, that stop just there is fine. And that stop just there is fine. Actually, maybe that one should be... No, that one isn't needed. To be honest, that one probably isn't either. That'll do. So that train, that bus is going to stop in front of the train station. And it's also going to connect up these two neighborhoods, which I think will be really good. So if people want to work in these, work from these neighborhoods, you know, they want to go to wherever from the neighborhoods, that's fine. Now, why are you two having problems? There we go. So no problems there. There are some water issues in this little corner, of course. Totally forgot about that. But for the most part, traffic is actually flowing a little bit better around this space. Up here, not so much. Industrial traffic is still garbage. That's for sure. Like, it's really bad. But it's trying at least. And, you know, that's all I can ask. All I can ask from my industry is that it tries. And it certainly is doing that. Now, something I do think I want to do is I want to try and get one suburban area, and I guess I could use the district sort of here. So if I just like outline this space, I kind of want like one suburb in all of that space just there. Looks kind of like a weird fish or a shoe. Either way, I kind of want to fill up that space. It could go up here a little bit further. You know, maybe something like that. So it comes to sort of a point. Don't know what it looks like now, but you know, something kind of like that. So that the mountain, we're not building right up the sides of the mountain. The mountain is still going to be untouched, and we're following the terrain. And that's something I'm really trying to do with all of these little suburban areas, is follow the terrain. Because if we don't follow the terrain, it just looks really unnatural. So here's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking that we grab this road here, and we're going to start at about that point. We're going to start coming down. Doesn't need to be perfect. Nothing's going to be zoned on in the space between the roads and the avenue. So a nice sharp turn at the end there. Bring it forward and just bring it around. And I'm liking this whole system of having the sort of backbone roads. The roads that follow the shape of the avenues and all that stuff, but it basically means a lot of traffic doesn't have to touch the avenue for these suburban areas, which is good, because the more traffic we take away from the avenues, the better. So this road's going to come down to about there, and it's going to follow along. I don't know if I want it to connect to here. I don't know if that's the thing I want it to do. I think I'll do it though. Maybe a roundabout would be the better way to do this, though. I think a roundabout is definitely going to be the smart move here. So bring that down at a 90-degree angle off of there. And we'll go... try and get this angle right. So 5 there. And 5 there. Bulldoze and that. Go into the middle. And 5 and 5. So what we need to do is we actually need to make sure this is a high-speed roundabout. So like that, 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 and that. And then this just all needs to be connected. Could maybe shuffle that just a little bit to make it more natural looking. Could maybe just bring this one straight in and shuffle. Well, that's actually fine. Right, so this just needs connected. That was actually pretty easy. I'm getting good at this roundabout nonsense. People were like, yo, you're so bad at roundabouts. Blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, yo, I've got it. It's all good. Ooh, that's kind of nasty looking. That's a bit better. I also left prop and tree anarchy on, which is a pretty big deal. But fortunately, I guess I'm going to be getting rid of a lot of the trees in that area. So it shouldn't be too much of a big problem. What way is this going to connect? Like that, I guess. Right. So let's go in and remove some trees from this space. We can add them back in, but it's just our usual method. Get rid of the trees so we can see what space we're working with. So they all come out. And I guess up to about there. So we're going to kind of have it be that shape around the mountain, which is fine. And then I guess to about there. So yeah, that's kind of going to be the size of this area. So we need the road over here to start following that. So that's going to need to curve sort of like that way. Then back around and along the sort of base of the mountain here. So again, we're going to follow and respect the shape of the terrain. That's kind of what I'm going for, and that's what I want to do. I want to make sure it just looks like a natural road, because it's really easy with cities to go ahead and just build something that doesn't look at all like a natural road. But I think that looks kind of cool. And the added height of all of that's going to make it look really good. Now, the real question is, what way is this going to connect to everything else? Because currently it only has one connection, which is really not good. I'm sort of looking over here and thinking that maybe, just maybe, we have a road come off of there. So we go 5 units. We'll do another roundabout, basically. Sort of road guidelines. So that goes there. That's going to go there, there, bulldoze, and there. All right. So this doesn't need to be a high-speed roundabout, which is the good news. So link it all up. Bulldoze all of those because we don't actually need them. And this goes there. This goes there. And this goes there. So that's going to be a connection for that side. I'm not convinced that's going to be enough. I'm really not convinced at all that that's going to be enough for this whole area, but I'm going to give it a shot. And I think what I'll do is I'll not make you watch the entire build process of this suburb, but I think when this is done, it's really going to make just this end of the city look really good. And so just like that, we have another suburb, and I actually really like it. I love this view of the city right here. I set this up and then looked at it for a couple of seconds before I started talking because I was just sort of taking it in, and I don't know what it is, man, but I'm really happy with this city. I know we've had, you know, me and y'all be in the audience, and there's been a lot of back and forth with feedback that I have taken and feedback that I haven't taken. I know Demand Master's been divisive. I know some people have claimed I'm a narcissist. I shouldn't bring this stuff up, but there's been some back and forth across this series. But I actually really love this view. I really, really do. I love the way the highway wraps around the city. I love the way the suburbs are starting to sprawl a little bit, and the way you can see the trees sort of dividing them all up and stuff like that. I really, really like it. I really, really do. I'm so pleased with that. I'm also slightly anxious about the amount of traffic that's going to start coming in here, because we're about to get the moving traffic. We're about to get the traffic that's moving into the city from this direction, and it's all going to go left. So we're about to see a lot of stuff happen, which is going to be very interesting. I'm also going to upgrade this. Cannot upgrade it this time. Is that already 4 lanes? That is already 4 lanes. Interesting. Okay. So all of the moving traffic is already in that leftmost lane, which is pretty cool, actually. I wonder if I upgrade those bits, though. Well, that bit doesn't need to be upgraded, but that bit. So if I just, you know, upgrade that one bit, that technically gives traffic going in that way another lane to use, which I don't think is the worst thing in the world. So I think that right there might be a good move, to be honest. And then maybe we do the same just there. So again, that traffic just has one extra lane to use if it wants to go to the left, which, let's be honest, it probably never will. It's very unlikely we're going to see any traffic use this road. I mean, we can check. Yep, no one uses it. This road here actually does get a decent bit of use. This road here, surprisingly, also got some use. Admittedly from down there, but that is actually kind of surprising. Did not expect that to be a thing, but I'm quite okay with it. I am absolutely quite okay with it. Now, something I would like to check actually is how this is going. Oh, wow. So there's a decent number of people wanting to use the buses here, which kind of has me thinking that maybe an asymmetrical road would be a good idea in that spot, just so the buses aren't blocking all of the traffic. So if I go in with this and I just, I mean, most of the buses are going that way. So if I go in with that, right? And then we set up the lanes properly. So if we do that, that right there should mean that most traffic stays in the rightmost lane. Can I do lane restrictions specifically? Disable despawning, vehicle restrictions. Aha! So the only thing, I don't want regular vehicles in that leftmost lane. I only want buses. So that will, yeah, so this pedestrian traffic is going to the right and going around the buses. Now, obviously, the buses are still going to cause traffic to back up, but that kind of makes sense to me. I kind of like that, especially with how busy this particular stop is going to be. So we'll see how that goes. I mean, yeah, the traffic's going to back up, but it should be all right. Have we got the moving traffic coming in yet? I guess a lot of it's tailing back. I mean, this right here is just... It is ridiculous amounts of traffic coming in. There's not a lot we can do about it because it is outside the city, but that's fine. I don't think I'm too worried about that, if I'm perfectly honest. I am still worried about the not enough goods to sell problem across the entire city. I'm kind of thinking that what I might do is rip out some of the commercial zoning that we have and replace it with offices. Just until we get to a point where, you know, we are providing enough stuff for all of these areas. So that's all going to be offices. And I'm going to do the same in here as well. Well, I'm not going to do it in there because that's a necessary shopping area. And a lot of that is, most of the city is offices. It's kind of ridiculous, but when you look at it, most of the city is industry and offices. And, well, residential at this point. But that is kind of nuts. Also, I don't like the shadows here. Not a big fan of that. Although I don't think there's a lot I can do about it. Just not a big fan, to be honest. So, ladies and gentlemen, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave it there for today. Next episode, I'm going to focus on getting the rest of the suburbs up and running around the rest of the city. Following that, it's going to be a couple of cases of making sure everything is working. I am going to try and fix the not enough goods problem before this series wraps up around part 40. I do also think that part 40 might very well be that first-person tour I was talking about. I think what I might do is try and have, what's this, part 36? So 37, 38, and 39 are going to be finishing everything off. And then part 40, I think, will be like a cinematic first-person tour. You know, looking at the city, talking about the city, talking about the series, talking about what the next series is going to be, because I'm still, you know, throwing about ideas for that. I haven't decided what the next series is going to be, so if you've got any ideas for it, do throw them out. My current two thoughts are either a creatively focused series with unlimited money and a demand master and all that kind of stuff, where we do it all in real time and build a city for the purpose of looking good in real time. I walk you through the creative build process and we do that. Or a heavily modded Let's Play from the get-go, heavily modded without Demand Master, without unlimited money, maybe hard mode, maybe natural disasters on, where we try and build another city the way you would regularly play City Skylines. So that's my thoughts. That's what I've got going back and forth, but we'll see. We will absolutely see. Either way, ladies and gentlemen, as always, it has been an absolute pleasure. Thank you kindly for watching. This has been City Skylines Mass Transit Part 36, I believe. I think it's Part 36. Is it Part 36? I'm going to just check real quick and see if it's Part 36, because I'm not 100% sure. YouTube is being very, very slow. It is Part 36. So, City Skylines Mass Transit Part 36. Thank you kindly for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye!